Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Circle Live. Today, we are talking about productivity. So I know a lot of us, we overuse that word busy. And we're all busy, but finding ways to make sure that during that busy, we are getting things done and being productive. So I have my co-hosts with me today. I have Lynn Pelzer and Tracy Evans. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
We miss Tammy today. She's not feeling well.
Yes, Tammy has a headache. Feel better, Tammy. We love you.
Yeah, we love you, Tammy. And she wanted to be on so badly because we feel like we haven't all been together live for a little bit with summer. So we're missing you, Tammy, but get well. Take a rest.
Good morning, Adriana. Good morning, Rebecca. Thank you for joining us.
I can read these today.
Yeah.
How does everybody like Tracy and her glasses? I think she looks cute and she looks smart.
I look smart.
Me too. I know. Glasses always have that layer of sophistication, right?
I'm not used to them.
So I think one thing I wanted to say about productivity, and you said busy and you said productivity, is even just I love when people change the wording around I'm so busy and think about, today I'm going to be productive instead. And I just thrive on productivity. It's one thing that probably drives me crazy too, is if I have a day where I don't feel productive, it's bad. Like I want to always have that list that I'm checking things off the list, which is what Tammy was going to talk to us about. So maybe we're going to get her to drop something in about, she has something about a checklist to be productive in the morning. I think it's really helpful. So Tam, when you hear this, maybe drop something into the group or into the comments here about that too. So we don't want to miss out what you're saying. But Tracy, what do you have to say? I'm letting you go first.
Yeah, I think for me, I have my really productive days, and then I have my days where I'm like, this isn't working, and I'll switch it and go, this is going to be designated my non-productive day. This is just not working for me.
That's okay.
Like I just need some downtime. But when I'm really trying to get stuff done, what really helps me, I bullet journal. So I have a journal that has my to-do list. Every morning I have my long to-do list, but I also do a schedule of what my day looks like, and I have my activities that I have to, my to-do list is in my schedule. And that kind of helps keep me on track, because what will happen is I'll get to the end of the day if I haven't done that, and I've got this to-do list and I've had my day just fill up with busy. And it's really important for me to stay focused, because I can squirrel. I have 1,000 things to squirrel out on my farm. I can go feed a chicken if I got nothing else to do. I can squirrel all of the best of them. So for me, it's really important to even designate that time. Okay, now you're allowed to go play with your sheep, or now you can go ride or whatever. And I designate that non-productive time, but really important me time. But then having those, and often I'll do it in 90-minute increments, because I'll say, okay, well, this 90 minutes, I've got to build a campaign for this product or this service. Right. And then I will work on that campaign solely for 90 minutes, and I won't move for 90 minutes. And then I'll give myself like a 10 or 15-minute break, and I'll come back and I'll do another 90 minutes on something else.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Me too.
She's a teacher today. Do you shut everything off during your 90 minutes? Like so if you're working on it, I'm assuming you're typing on your computer, kind of working through, or maybe even handwriting out like a bunch of notes before you get to something. Do you make sure your phone is not going to alert you, notifications, like things to distract you during those 90
I'm pretty
productive?
good at ignoring. I will silence my phone, because I can't ignore a phone call. But sometimes I don't want to ignore a phone call. So I will have my phone quiet but beside me, so I can see if a call comes through from a client or potential client or whatever. But then I can ignore the Facebook stuff. That's the only thing that really pops up on mine. My emails will pop up as well, but I can ignore those and power through. When I'm in the zone, like my husband can walk in and have a conversation with me, and I don't even know he's in the room. I'm just in it. And
that's good that you do have that focus. Yeah.
Some people can't.
No, I'm one of those people that can't.
I'm not sure what the number is, but there's something about if you stop a project and you just give a quick reply to a text, it's like, yes, sure, sounds good.
Yeah, it's just broken your whole concentration.
It actually it removes more than the 15 seconds of typing it. It's like something like 5 minutes or something of your productivity. I can't remember what it is. I should look that up. And I think it's true.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it's good that you can do that. And I think for people that can't do that, I think it's something worth working on.
Yeah.
And you almost have to make yourself
then suck you in for hours.
And that social media stuff.
Yeah, and I can fall prey to that too, because sometimes I'm just my mind's not in it, and I can just scroll and you know,
of course.
And that's the stuff I'm trying to stop, because I'll scroll and then I'll just keep going down the squirrel path, and then to pull myself back becomes really hard. So. And
you have a bullet journal? I don't know what a bullet journal is.
So a bullet journal, basically a blank journal that I structure how it works for me.
Okay,
so I have every page, like I'll do maybe a weekly to-do list and plan, and then I'll have just each day is my to-do list and schedule for the day. And then maybe some notes like, hey, how about you drink some water today? Or hey, try lunch once, you know, or you should probably eat today.
I think, I think that's important that you mentioned things like that, even with going to spend time with your sheep or your horses. You know, a lot of us get lost in just, you know, putting in all of, you know, our professional side and forget that we do need to honor ourselves and schedule in that time. So those things definitely have to go on calendar as well. No, for sure.
Do any of us know many apps people could use to do that instead of like handwriting, which I also really like?
Yeah, I know. I don't know if either of you have heard of it. I'm sure a lot of people have. It's called Trello. I do have it on my phone. I haven't, to be completely honest, I haven't spent the time to actually, you know, when you first sign up, you go through that, you know, little tutorial. The tutorial was getting a little bit too long for me, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna figure this out on my own. And of course, trying to plug things in, I'm lost. So I have to admit that I haven't necessarily, you know, used it to its full, you know, capability myself, but it really depends on what you prefer. Like I try to be a little more app savvy and try to get a little more digital, but I always come back to paper.
I love
always
it. I have a brand new journal sitting at home. My girlfriend just opened a journaling company called Do Good Co.
Okay.
Shoot, sorry, Leslie. And she's doing these beautiful eco-friendly journals, and I just love a new journal. So every quarter, I'm like, I can't wait to get my new journal, and I love checking stuff off.
I do too.
Yeah, the checking stuff off is always good.
So a couple of things around that, because, you know, we were going to talk a little bit about apps too, but I think there's a lot of value in this pen to paper because psychologically, you remember more when your hand is physically writing it out, thinking about it, than typing. That's been proven.
That's how I used to study for exams.
Yeah, me too. Write it out.
Yes. We're not just being old school here.
No, it's true.
No, we're not.
There is definite science behind it.
There is. And I want to tell you the other piece is that if you have an at-home business and you want to write things off at the end of the year, if you ever get audited, digital things don't necessarily count. And you have to work a certain amount of hours in a week to be able to write off that part-time business. You can't just say, I signed up to join a company, and every lunch I have is potential prospect lunch and all this kind of stuff. You can't do that. You have to be able to prove that you had appointments. But of course, digitally, you could just be putting that in later, right? So I have heard that Revenue Canada likes to see some things that are actually on paper because, of course, there is a way to test on paper whether you just wrote it or it's old or new and all that kind of stuff. It's true. It's true. Forensic handwriting, something or other. I don't know.
Satisfaction I would have just handing them a stack of journals and going,
you knock yourself out.
That's fun.
So what do you?
What's huge for me? I am probably the most productive when I have an organized workspace, and I feel like no matter where your workspace is, if you have double workspaces, you know, say one home office, one work office, you know, some people travel on a train, you know, wherever it might be, I think it's super important to set them up almost identically and never ever share your workspace, because I know my husband, you know, likes to come down periodically and it throws me for a loop. It's almost like my cockpit, right? It's like I've set things up a certain way. In order for me to be productive, they have to be in that order. Another big thing for me is just those simple in and out trays and reviewing those. So, you know, whatever you get, whether it's bills, whatever it is, just making sure you're popping them in the right place, you know, and reviewing them at the end of the week and filing them. Nothing in my opinion, replaces a good filing system.
So
And it can just be by letters. So I think, like, you know, people get kind of overwhelmed with thinking that they need so many things, and really you need desk space, you need pens, you know, you need a stapler, you need a filing system, your in and out tray, maybe a calendar to jot things down. It doesn't have to be, like, it can be simple, right?
Absolutely.
But filing, you know, even like for me, for anything to do with dance, it's a D. I just know I'm going to go there. And then what's important is that you know that at the end of every year, when you are doing your taxes, that's when you're going through those and you're actually getting rid of that paper that you no longer need.
Yes.
You know, because storing it forever just adds to the chaos, and it keeps your mind busy, and you can't be productive.
You can't be productive because you're overwhelmed, but you're also less productive if you're spending time searching through this stack instead of this little stack that you know
100%.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know what, that's probably a massive issue for a lot of people that are especially kind of new to their business. And maybe they started their own business and they don't have staff. It's like they have every hat, so they're doing mostly everything themselves except maybe their bookkeeping. Yeah. And their bookkeeper's okay with just throwing a box of stuff at them so they don't have to, right? So that's really important. And you got something else I want to talk about. You got me thinking about, I've talked about this before, is also the decluttering and organizing on your laptop or your phone.
So true.
Of emails, right? Did we do the zero inbox?
We talked about the zero inbox.
Okay. I couldn't remember if we did that one or not. We talked
it's
about
my
it.
filing system. So.
Right. But meaning, you know, taking the time to set up folders where you're going to get emails that are receipts too.
Yeah.
So put them into the right place.
Yes.
All of that. And if you don't do it every day when you get them in, you need to set aside a time, whether it's once a week, once a month, once a quarter, whatever it is that you can manage, and get all of that, because that stuff gets super overwhelming, like scrolling through and not knowing how to go and find things, or also asking people. Maybe you're not even great about looking through your email because you're like, I don't know how to find everything. This is a new email system to me. I don't even know how to search and find blah, blah, blah. It might be getting a bit of education around that too, because you waste so much time on that.
That's true.
And photos.
Oh my gosh, photos. I am so guilty of not keeping them super organized. I know. I feel like the best times for those, and I know that you've mentioned that before, but when you travel, so, you know, once a month, once every couple months, we travel to my parents, live in Hamilton area. So I have like an hour and a half in the car, my husband's driving, and I kind of, you know, allocate that time to go into my phone and clean things up in that hour and a half, or whatever time, you know, flights.
Yes. Yeah,
if you're going,
which I'm doing on Sunday. Yay.
I find with photographs, I find it easy because I have a Mac, so I use the iPhoto. And once I do it, for me, it's program photographs, right? Like I have clients in and I'm taking all kinds of pictures.
Oh, gotcha.
Document their experience. But it's really easy for me to go, okay, so last upload or whatever, select all and create an album. And then it's done.
Yes.
And then I know, okay, so CIBC's in there, Iron Mountain's over here. I can find stuff. Because I also share those back to my clients. So those ones get organized really well. But I find, you know, I could have more subject matter folders for my pictures, for sure.
Yeah.
So I do struggle to find, like, if, you know, you're looking for a motivational post, I have lots of photographs that could work for it, but I think I can find it when I need it.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to have too many folders. She may like, now I have so many folders. You're not gonna have 150 folders.
I mean, you never know.
Well, you might.
Yeah,
you might have clients, right, that are like all clients.
Right.
But for those other things, it might be like, okay, these are. Let's say it's a motivational quote, and you're going and spending some time and creating all those together. And the other ones might be funny quotes, like just a difference like that. So you're not looking through, oh, I have 75 saved in the motivational, and they weren't really motivational. This stuff takes a little bit of time to get organized, but once it is, and then you've got it, it's like boom, 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 boom. And if you don't know how to figure out how to add a folder, you know, take some time to figure that out, or ask somebody.
But I think that's the biggest thing. If I think about the things that are big time suckers, it's when everything doesn't have its place. And then you've got to spend this monumental amount of time putting everything away because it didn't just have its place to start with, right? So it's that initial setup is going to save you so much time.
So I have two things I wanted to add. One, if you're someone who does calls, very specific calls that you have you know, a sequence of calls you might have with a potential new customer or client.
Right.
I think you need to figure out a way to have a time limit on those calls and very specifically what you want to discuss.
Yes.
And also make sure you know how to get off the phone. So, and if it's new, like I remember when I first started doing this stuff and I'd have like hour-long calls. I'm like,
that's a coaching call for me. Like that's a full
for
but
sure.
That's their, but they're hiring you for coaching for the hour. That's fine. But if it's something else, you know, and it's new, don't be afraid to have a list right in front of you when you're on the phone that you're like, okay, these are the 4 things we need to discuss. Here's my little sentence that means we're closing up the call now and that you feel comfortable with, so that you can get through these calls in 15 minutes or whatever you think is the amount of time, so you're not wasting time. So they're highly productive, and also nobody gets down the rabbit hole of like some other personal conversation like we might do when the camera's on.
That's where corporate experience comes in, right? I never walked into a meeting with us saying I have a hard stop at 11.
And I think that's important for people to know, because people often feel bad, but most often the other party is in a rush as well. They don't
Everybody's got stuff to do.
I feel like setting the expectation up front. I don't know how many times I've been on a call or started a call and said right up front, you know, let's just get to the meat and potatoes. You know, I just want to be mindful of your time and my time. We have 15 minutes. Let's just bang it out. And you can connect another time, like, and you can speak to that. I've said many times, we can connect next week for a little bit longer time, but today let's just stay focused and be mindful of one another's time. And I think most people are pretty respectful of that. But it is a hard thing, especially when starting out, to like, you almost feel bad, you know? You're like, you know, I don't want to offend them. What if they're saying something? But everybody's time is valuable.
And you're trying so hard. You're trying so hard in the beginning, but getting good at that, they'll really respect it as well. And the other thing I was going to mention about being productive, and I think we're getting close on time, is around Facebook. And so I think most of us, I mean, you're watching this through Facebook maybe, or maybe YouTube, but many of you are in the Facebook group. You need to have a plan of what you need to do on Facebook every day. And then if you run a group in particular, which it's getting to be that groups are the way to go now. So I'll speak to that, is take the plan once a month to do your content creation. You know, make those images on, I'm gonna plug Canva and I'm gonna plug WordSwag if it's enough for you. WordSwag, it's the fastest. WordSwag is the fastest. You can even add logos to it if you do the paid version. Maybe it's all paid version now. I don't know.
I don't know what it is. I was as well, and I do the paid version, so which is $5 a month. So it is? $4.99 I pay.
Oh, good to know.
They have, I believe,
$7.99. I paid once. I was a really early adopter.
No, okay.
Anyway, still worth it. Still worth it because it's a fast one. Or Canva. So then, you know, create all of your content, put it in your little folder, and some people use Evernote. I'm not going to speak to Evernote, but if you want a place to store content where you can store you know, copy as well, then that's a really good one. I don't know that much about it, but I'm just mentioning it. Evernote is a really popular one to store like copy and all kind of videos. You can store images and everything there all at once. But if you're just storing the images and you want to use them, do it all at once. Like, don't be trying to make these images day by day. I need to post something. I need to go find something. Like, do a whole month's worth. Save it in the appropriate folder, and then take the time to post plan. Learn how to use Post Planner on your group. It's pretty simple and easy.
It is simple.
And just get it all in there, and then you can just manage it as the post goes out, because doing it day by day is taking up quadruple at minimum the amount of time. You probably know ahead of time what you're going to post. I'm going to look and see if we've got questions here.
Thank you,
Rebecca. Hey, Adriana. Oh, yes. Hey, Adriana says, you're right, Lynn. It takes about 20 minutes to get properly refocused. See? Adriana would know. She's super focused. Okay, I love you include eating and drinking as part of your bullet journal. Yeah.
The sad thing is I'm incapable of looking after myself, so if I don't write it down, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basic life skills, I missed that course.
We should also put massage in there, right, Rebecca? Rebecca, massage. Janice Ross, good morning. So thanks for joining in today, ladies. Those, you know what, those are all great things, and it's funny how it all comes down to being organized.
That's
You're most productive when you're organized.
Yep.
And we'll hear more from Tammy afterwards too. All right.
All right.
Anything else to add?
No, I think that's good.
Go get to work. Go produce something.
Go get it organized. Tell us all about it. Okay, bye everybody.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye everyone.